My name is Josh, and in today's practice, we're going to focus on the lower back. We're going to learn how to engage the lower back, both in a pattern of extension and in a pattern of flexion, with the hope of being able to feel with a more acute awareness how to bring the spine into an anatomically or in a structurally neutral position, where we're moving without a back that's overly arched or overly flexed. I hope you enjoy practice, and I look forward to seeing you on the mat again. Thank you and enjoy. So for class today, we're going to focus on targeting and isolating the lower part of the back, both to bring strength to the lower back and mobility to it. So begin by lying down on your back to begin, and set your feet flat to the floor with your knees bent and have your arms by your side. Your eyes can be open or closed, whatever feels most comfortable for you. And position the shoulders underneath the back just a bit, so the chest feels slightly bolstered, slightly lifted. And take a couple breaths to settle in and to arrive. Then bring your awareness to the lower part of your back. So the lower part of the back has a curve that tends to pull away from the floor when in a lying position. The name of this curve, it's called a lordotic curve. It's a movement of the spine in towards the body as opposed to away from it. We all have different amounts of curvature to the lower back. So in this moment, just take a note of yours. Take a note of the space between the lower back and the floor. And then on your next breath in, go ahead and engage the lower back, the back side of the lower back, in a way in which it increases the curvature of the lower back, drawing the lower back away from the floor or extending the lower part of the spine. Take another breath in. And then as you exhale, soften those muscles so the spine returns back to more of what's anatomically neutral for you in this position. And then repeat that again. So as you breathe in, begin to increase the curvature of the lower back, drawing the lower back away from the floor. And then as you exhale, relax the muscles of the lower back on the posterior side, allowing the spine again to return to what's anatomically neutral for you from this position. And then one more time, increase the curve of the lower back on the breath in, feeling those muscles shorten. And then as you breathe out, back to neutral. Now we'll do the same thing the other direction. So first breathe in, and then as you exhale, flatten the lower back, and this strengthens the muscles on the front of the spine. The action is similar to the feeling of the tailbone pushing upward. This is like the anterior portion of the lower back. And as you breathe in, let the spine return back to neutral. And exhale, flatten the lower back again. Engaging the front of the spine, the lower spine. Inhale to neutral again, or more of a natural curve. And then exhale, flatten. All right, and then back to what's anatomically neutral for you. From here, take your hands behind the back of your head like you're doing a sit-up, and now we'll exaggerate both the extension and the flexion of the lower back. Push the elbows down, increase or extend the lower back, create more space between the lower back and the floor, and then as you breathe out, flatten your lower back, lift your head and your shoulders up, and bring the elbows in, contracting the lower belly. This is the front of the spine. As you inhale, lower down, elbows wide, extend the lower back. And then as you exhale, flatten, lift up, elbows in. Again, inhale down, elbows wide, extend the lower back. And as you exhale, flatten, lift up, elbows in. And then lower back down, and from there, slide your hands out from behind the head. Hook your right ankle on top of your left thigh like you were setting up the figure 4 shape. Walk your left foot to the left until you find the edge of the mat. And then a little bit further and let both of your knees fall to the right. So your right ankle is sort of encouraging the left outer thigh down towards the floor. A few breaths there. And then return back to center, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. Walk your left foot in, right foot down. Place your left ankle on top of your right thigh. Walk your right foot right, and then let your knees fall to the left. So now the left ankle encouraging the right outer thigh down towards the floor. And take one more breath. All right, and then come back to center. Walk your right foot back in, set your left foot down. And then from there, bring both of your knees in towards your chest. And then either roll to either side or find your way up into a seat. And from there, come into child's pose. So for this version of child's pose, I want you to take child's pose with your knees together instead of apart, so that your belly is resting on the thighs. This puts the lower back into a slightly flexed position. And extend your arms out in front of you. Now on your next breath in, shift forward to a tabletop pose. Tuck your right toes under, wiggle your right foot back until your leg is straight. And then lift your right leg up until you feel the right lower back muscles slightly contract. Pausing there. Take a full breath in. Important that the right leg stays straight. And then as you exhale, lower your right knee and take your hips back to your heels. Okay, and then inhale forward. Tabletop pose. Tuck your left toes under, wiggle your foot back. And then lift your leg up until you feel now the muscles in the left lower back contract a little more. There's these little small muscles in the lower back called the multifidi that engage in this position. Really important set of muscles. And then lower your left knee down and take your hips back to your heels. Let's do that one more time. Shift forward. Tuck your right toes, wiggle your foot back, raise your heel up. And then as you exhale, lower your right knee down, hips back. Inhale, shift forward, take your left leg back and up. And then as you exhale, lower your left knee and hips back. All right, this time come up to tabletop pose. And from there, tuck your toes under, lift your hips up and back, and come into downward facing dog now. A few breaths in downward facing dog. What we'll try to do in this version of downward facing dog initially is to both engage or contract the muscles of the lower back on the back side of the spine, the posterior muscles, and then the anterior muscles that run along the front. So to do so, bend the knees a little bit. Try to lift the sitting bones up as if you're attempting to extend the lower back. The same action, the same feeling of pulling the lower back away from the floor. Breathe in. And then as you exhale, straighten the legs. Try to drop the heels a bit and feel like your tailbone is reaching for the floor, flexing the lower back a little. Then bend the knees a little bit, sitting bones up, extending the lower back. Straighten the legs, drop the heels, tailbone down, as if attempting to flex the muscles of the lower back. And then one more time, bend the knees, sitting bones up, engaging the muscles of the lower back. And then heels down, straighten the legs, tailbone down, flexing the muscles of the lower back. Now try to find somewhere neutral, somewhere between the two. Take a full breath in. Exhale completely. The end of your breaths up to the front of your mat and bring your feet together. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain pose, arms up. And then as you exhale, lower your arms by your side. So you want to be near the front of the mat for this next little sequence. With your feet together, inhale your arms up overhead. And then as you exhale, fold forward and hinge from your hips. Step your right foot all the way back to low lunge and breathe in. And then exhale to downward facing dog. Now on your next breath in, lower your knees down, place your chest between the palms and your chin to the floor. This is knees, chest, chin. The lower back is in a slightly extended position, pausing there. Now as you inhale, keep the toes tucked. Shift the hips forward. Lift up into cobra pose with your toes down, knees up. Pause there. Then point the toes. To float the feet, raise the heels a little. To contract or tone the lower back a little more and breathe in. And then lower down. Plank or tabletop, press up. And down dog as you breathe out. Now inhale your right leg up. Exhale, step through to a lunge. Lower your left knee down. Keep your back toes tucked under and lift your arms up overhead. Try to contract the left glute a little bit. This is just going to help with the position and to stay out of the lower back. So what we don't want to do is dump into the lower back. We want to feel like we're engaging the lower back and going upward. Breathe in. And then exhale your hands down. Step forward to the front of your mat and fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Fold forward as you breathe out. Inhale, mountain pose, all the way up. And as you exhale, lower your arms by your side. Repeat the same thing. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. This time, step your left foot back, then breathe in. Down dog as you breathe out. Inhale, knees down, chest between the palms, chin to the floor. So knees, chest, chin, pause there. Feeling the lower back extend. As you inhale, shift forward to cobra pose. Pick your knees up, but keep the toes down and pause. And from there, float the feet. Raise the heels a little higher. And then lower down on the breath out. Inhale to plank or tabletop. And down dog on your breath out. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Lift your left leg up. As you exhale, step through. Lower your right knee to the mat. Inhale your arms up overhead. Right toes tucked. Right foot working the hips forward. Left foot keeps everything stable. Reach up a lot. And breathe in. And then as you exhale, hands down, step forward to the front of your mat and fold forward. Inhale, mountain pose, arms up. And then exhale your arms down by your side. So we'll do that sequence a couple times through the same way, just to really warm everything up and connect us to the lower back and really start to strengthen the lower back, and especially in these knees, chest, chin to cobra pose variations. So inhale your arms up overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Step your right foot back, then breathe in. Down dog as you breathe out. Inhale, knees, chest, chin down. Stay and breathe out. Inhale to cobra pose. Knees up, then point the toes. Exhale, lower down. Plank or tabletop, push up. And down dog as you breathe out. Inhale your right leg up. Exhale, lunge. Left knee down, inhale your arms up overhead. And then exhale your hands down, step forward and fold the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain pose. And exhale your arms down. Again, reach up, inhale. Fold forward. Step your left foot back, then breathe in. Down dog on your breath out. Inhale, knees, chest, chin to the ground. Stay, breathe out. Inhale to cobra pose, knees up, then point the toes. Exhale, lower down. Plank or tabletop. To down dog on the breath out. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, lunge. Right knee down. Inhale, your arms up overhead. And then as you exhale, hands down, step forward to the front of your mat and fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain pose, arms up. And then exhale, your arms down by your side. One more time, reach up, inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Right foot back, inhale. Down dog, exhale. Inhale, knees, chest, chin to the floor. Stay and breathe out. Inhale to cobra pose, toes down, knees up, then point them. Exhale, lower. Plank or tabletop. And down dog as you breathe out. Inhale your right leg up. Exhale, lunge. Left knee down, arms up, inhale. And then exhale, hands down, step forward and fold at the front. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, arms down by your side. Last side, inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Left foot back, inhale. Downward dog, exhale. Inhale, knees, chest, chin to the floor. Stay and breathe out. Inhale, cobra pose, knees up, then point the toes. And lower down. Plank or tabletop. Down dog on the breath out. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, lunge. Lower your right knee, arms up, inhale. And then as you exhale, hands down, step forward and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And fold forward. Inhale to mountain pose. And as you exhale, lower your arms by your side. All right, so now bring your feet together. Bend your knees and inhale to chair pose. Come into Utkatasana first. We're going to just do a couple different versions of chair pose to feel the different extremes of the lower back and then find neutral, so a feeling of engagement that's between the two. So as you reach the arms up, take a full breath in. Then as you exhale, lean forward, take your shins back. Keep tipping the upper body down and feel like your tailbone's pushing to the floor until the lower back feels like it's in a slightly flexed position. Now as you inhale, lift the arms up, try to overextend the lower back just a little bit. And then as you exhale, lean forward again and flex the lower back. Now find somewhere between the two, neutral. Breathe in. And then stand up as you exhale and lower your arms. Inhale to chair pose. Find that same neutral position of the lower back. And then fold forward this time as you breathe out. Inhale, halfway lift. And as you exhale, step back and lower halfway down. Upward dog. And downward facing. Inhale your right leg up. Exhale, step through to a lunge, then come up onto your fingertips and breathe in. From there, rock your hips back, folding to your right thigh like a modified pyramid lunge, but keep your belly pinned to your right leg so that your lower back is long. Especially on the right side, we want the lower back in this kind of flexed position. All right, inhale one more time. Then bend your right knee, plant your left palm. So plant your left palm towards the left side of the mat. Reach your right arm up to twist. And then this isn't a way that I would always teach this posture, but for cohesiveness throughout the kind of overall trajectory of this whole class, try to engage the lower back a little bit and lean your upper body a little bit left, like the lower back is moving the upper body left. Take another breath in. And then as you exhale, lower your right hand down outside of the foot. Spin your back foot flat. Feel like your now tailbone is moving in, like you're lengthening the lower back or attempting to slightly flex the lower back. And inhale to side angle pose with your left arm reaching towards the mirror. If you want, you could place a block underneath your right hand or place the forearm onto the thigh. But I want you to feel almost like you're attempting to flex the lower back. It likely won't move into flexion, but it's going to counter the tendency in the shape for the lower back to want to overextend. One more breath. All right, then inhale to warrior two and come up. So once you get your feet established, pull the shoulders over the hips. And now first, go ahead and overextend the lower back. So try to compress or slightly overextend, overarch the lower back. And then do the opposite. So try to really lift up on the front of the pelvis. Feel like you're trying to flex the lower back excessively. Extend the lower back excessively. Flex the lower back slightly excessively. And now find somewhere between the two, where you maintain some tone to the front of the spine and the lower belly as well as the lower back. And then keep that feeling. Inhale to reverse warrior, right arm up. Left hand on your back leg. Yeah, keep balancing the front of the spine, the back of the lower spine. Inhale deeply. And then exhale, palms down, step to plank. Take it halfway down. Upward dog in. And downward facing dog. Inhale your left leg up. Exhale, lunge. From your fingertips, breathe in. Then rock your hips back and keep your belly pressed to your left thigh. Stay here for a few breaths. Again, using this shape to lengthen the lower back. All right, inhale one more time. And bend your left knee. Right hand goes wide. Reach your left arm up. Slightly engage the lower back. Like the lower back is moving the upper body a bit to the right. So keeping our awareness on the lumbar spine, the lower spine. One more breath in. And then exhale your left hand outside of the foot. Spin your back foot flat. Tailbone in. So you're attempting to lengthen the lower back, engaging the front of the lower spine, and inhale to side angle pose with your right arm overhead. So it's like the front of the pelvis, pubic bone is moving towards the sternum, or the tailbone moving towards the right front corner of the mat. Or more specifically, you're engaging the muscles that run along the front of the lower spine. One more breath. And inhale to warrior two. All right, so pull the shoulders over the hips. Reorganize the feet. And then to play around with the lower back, first overextend the lower back. So feel what it feels like when the lower back is overly contracted. And then overly flex the lower back. Overly extend. And overly flex, and really feel how that moves and influences the position of the pelvis and the legs. Then to neutral. Keeping neutral, inhale left arm up, right hand on the back leg. So it's neutral, but it's like actively neutral. Controlling the front of the spine, controlling the back of the lower spine. One more breath in. And then as you exhale, hands down, step to plank, lower halfway down. Alternatively, you can come to the belly. Inhale, upward dog. And then downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths. All right, and then what we'll do is flow through that just one more time through. We won't hold everything in the same way. We'll just go more or less one breath per posture. Deeply breathe in. Exhale. End your breath. Step to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain pose. And then exhale your arms by your side. All right, inhale, chair pose, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And as you exhale, step back and lower halfway down. Upward dog inhale. And downward dog. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, lunge. From your fingertips, inhale. Hips back on the breath out. Stay and breathe in. Bend your right knee as you breathe out. Inhale your right arm up, extending the lower back. Exhale, right hand down, flexing the lower back. Inhale to side angle pose, left arm forward. Hold there and breathe out. Inhale, warrior two. Hold and breathe out. Inhale, reverse warrior, one breath. And then exhale, back down, high to low plank. Upward dog. And downward facing. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, lunge. Take a full breath in. Hips back on your breath out. Stay, inhale. Bend your left knee. Inhale, left arm up, engaging the lower back a bit. Exhale, left hand down, flexing the lower back a little. Inhale to side angle pose, right arm overhead. Hold there and breathe out. Inhale, warrior two. Breathe out. Inhale, reverse warrior. And then exhale, chaturanga. Taking it halfway down. Inhale. And downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths. Now lift your right leg up and step wide for runner's lunge. Step your right foot outside of the hand, lower your left knee down. Then reach back with your right palm and grab a hold of your left foot. Draw your heel in towards the hip and then let the heel and the hip come forward together. Turn the chest a little bit to the right from that position and take a few breaths here. So trying to open up or lengthen out through the left quadricep. You don't want the back here overly extended or overly flexed. For the most part, somewhat neutral. Actively or structurally neutral. As opposed to passively neutral, a lot of the time we associate neutral with passivity, but we're really just going for structurally or actively or functionally neutral. In the back, take one more breath. Now release your left foot and press up onto your onto your palms. Pick your back knee up off of the ground and then raise your hips a little bit. Crawl your fingertips as far forward as you can and then keeping your back leg completely straight. Feel like your right foot is pulling the hips forward and your left heel is pulling the hips back simultaneously. Like a game of tug of war with the pelvis. As you do that, assuming your back leg is still straight, it's going to continue to stretch the left hip flexor, but not the quadricep portion because the leg is straight, but deeper into the psoas of the left hip. So right foot pulling, left heel reaching. 2 more breaths. Another breath. All right, and then slide your hands back, shift the weight to your right foot, and step your left foot forward and wide for malasana. You could always sit onto a block if that helps you out. Otherwise, once you squat down, turn the feet slightly in. Bring the elbows instead of inside of the knees on top of the thighs. Feel as if the tailbone is pulling in towards the body as the chest lifts up. You want the lower back to be in a slightly flexed position here. If it's not, it could be that the toes are too far turned out or apart. But we want to find a position, ideally, where the lower back is slightly flexed. Take 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. Okay, and then raise the hips a little, plant your palms, step your left foot back, and then your right. Then lift your left leg up and step wide for runner's lunge on this side. Lower your right knee down. Reach back with your left hand, grab a hold of the foot, and then heel in, hip forward. A couple breaths there. Getting into the front of the right hip flexor. Quadricep primarily. The rectus femoris even more specifically. The quadricep muscle that runs across the front of the hip joint. Okay, then release your right foot. Lower your left palm, press up onto your hands, pick your back knee up. And the same thing, raise your hips a little bit, crawl your fingertips forward, and then it's like your left foot is trying to pull the hips forward, and your right heel is trying to pull the hips back simultaneously. One way to think about it. Or another, like your left foot's trying to pull the hips forward, but your right heel was resisting. Two more breaths. One more breath. And then slide your hands back. The weight in the left foot. Step your right foot forward and squat down into Malasana again. This time, see if you can turn the feet a little more parallel. Elbows on top of the knees or armpits on top of the knees. As much weight in the outer foot as the inner. Tailbone in, chest up. And a few breaths. All right, one more breath. And then lift the hips a little, lower your hands down, step your right foot back, and then your left foot to meet it, downward dog. All right, lower your knees down to the ground, and now we're going to use some blocks. I want you to take one block on the lowest height underneath your forehead and the other block on the lowest height underneath your right hand, and find your way into child's pose with your knees together. So in all of these various sequences that I teach on the lower back or on the back, any part of the back really, this is one that I love to incorporate. It's called first in, last out, or first in, last to lower. At least that's what I call it. Your right hand, the hand on the block, is the first to lift. So first to lift, and then the right hand is the last to lower. All right, so first, start to lift your right hand up. As you inhale, shift forward to tabletop pose. Extend your left leg back. But since we're working on the lower back, keeping the left leg lifted, pulse the left leg up. 1, to contract the lower back. 2, a second pulse. 3, contracting the left lower back. And then as you exhale, lower your left knee, hips to heels, forehead down, and your hand, the right hand, is the last thing to lower. Again, right hand first to lift. As you inhale, shift forward, left leg back. 3 pulses. 1, do those slow. 2, 3, and then exhale, knee down, forehead to block, and then the right hand is the last thing to lower. One more time, right hand first to lift, shift forward, left leg back. Pulsing 1, 2, 3, and then as you exhale, knee down, forehead down, right hand, last thing to lower. Okay, now slide the block underneath your left palm. Right hand is on the mat. Now the left hand is the first to lift and the last to lower. All right, inhale, left hand lifts first. Shift forward, right leg back and up. 1, 2 pulses. 3 pulses. Exhale, right knee down, hips to heels, forehead, and then the left hand lowers last. Left hand first to lift, shift forward, right leg back, and up for 1, 2, 3, and then as you exhale, right knee down, belly to thigh, forehead down, left hand last thing to lower. One more, first to lift, shift forward, right leg back, for 1, 2, 3, and then exhale back. Left hand is the last thing to lower. Okay, then you can place the blocks back off to the side. Take child's pose with your belly to your thighs, forehead down, and your hands back by your feet. Take a few breaths. All right, and then come up to tabletop pose. Tuck your toes in downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up. And then from there, step all the way through to a lunge. This time, inhale to crescent lunge, but come up with your hands on your hips. If it helps, you can widen the stance a little bit. Bend your back knee slightly. Try to pull the hips under the shoulders. And then as you re-straighten the left leg, try to contract the glutes, engage the lower back, and reach up, but not backwards. So we're trying to find engagement of the lower back, but not dumping into the lower back. So we're going up, but not backwards. Breathe in deeply. And as you breathe out, we'll twist, pull the palms together, and then hook your left arm outside of your right thigh. Turn your chest to the right. Couple breaths here. If this is too much on the back leg or your legs at all feel fatigued for whatever reason, you can always lower your left knee down to the mat. Take just one more breath. All right, and now lower your hands down, straighten your front leg just for a moment. Now slide your left hand to your left hip, and we'll do half moon pose, but really focusing on the lower back and creating stability there. So bend your right knee, slide your right hand forward, pick your left leg up, and then see if you can control the position of the lower back, where it's not going into an overly extended position, nor is it moving into an overly flexed position. Try to keep your awareness on the lower back and keeping the lower back in a neutral state. Left hand can stay on the hip. There's no need to reach it up. Just stay with your awareness in the spine. Take 2 more breaths. 1 more. And then lower your left palm down. Take a big step back with your left foot. Come into crescent lunge again. Remember, as the arms come up, engage from the lower back, out of the lower back, and then downward facing dog, hands down and step back. Then lift your left leg up and step through to a lunge. Up into crescent lunge with your hands on your hips. Bend the back knee slightly to pull the hips under the shoulders, contract your right glute. And as you re-straighten the right leg, arms up. Feel like the lower back is engaged and everything is going upward. 1 more breath in. And then as you exhale, we'll twist to the left, hook your right elbow outside of your left thigh, and palms together. A few breaths there. Inhale 1 more time. And then as you exhale, lower your palms, straighten your front leg. Pause for a moment. And slide your right hand to your right hip. Bend your left knee. Slide your left fingertips forward and pick your right leg up into half moon. And as you do that, controlling the position of the lower back. Not overly flexed. Not overly extended, but stable. Stay stable. 1 more breath in. As you exhale, lower your right hand down. Take a big step back with your right foot. Inhale to crescent lunge, arms up, controlling the spine. And then as you exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe in deeply and breathe out. Let's do one more standing pose. Lift your right leg up again. Step through to a lunge. And as you inhale, come up in a crescent lunge with your hands on your hips again. This time, reach just your left arm up, and we're going to do revolved half moon. So from there, lower your left hand down out in front of you. Pick your left leg up. Your right knee can be however bent it needs to be so you can straighten the left leg fully. Turn your chest to the right as best you can. A couple breaths there. And one more breath. Lower your right hand, step back, downward facing dog. And lift your left leg up. Step through. Inhale to crescent lunge. Come up with your hands on your hips. Right arm up, inhale. And then revolved half moon. Right hand down, right leg up. Then the left knee as much as you need to straighten the right leg and turn your chest to the left as best as you can. Inhale one more time. And then left hand down, downward facing dog. All right, inhale, knees, chest, chin to the floor. Stay there, breathe out. Shift forward, inhale to cobra pose. Knees up, point the toes. And then lower down, tabletop. And then come into child's pose with your hips to your heels. All right. Go ahead and come up onto your knees and grab a hold of one of your blocks again. And I want you to take the block and place it between the thighs on the medium width. We're going to do Ustrasana here, the camel pose. And if this posture doesn't work for you, what you can do instead is take bridge pose, which is basically the same shape. Otherwise, you'll have the block between the thighs, your toes tucked under, and start with your hands on the upper hips. The purpose of the block, the purpose of the tucking the toes is to get the legs to engage so that we can really work the lower back properly. Move your hips away slightly from the front of the mat and then bring your fingertips towards the very top of the heels. If you can't reach the heels, then slide your hands back onto the hips. That's going to be the alternative. Either of those two positions, squeeze the block, contract the glutes, press through the toes, and then as the hips move forward, engage through the back, especially the lower back, but moving up and out of it. With everything we've been working on, try to use that awareness to control the engagement of the lower back. Okay, and then hips away from the top of the mat, slide your hands to the upper waist, and then inhale, come back up. Have a seat on your heels or on a block between the heels. We're going to do 3 rounds in total, so 2 more of Ustrasana. So take a few breaths to recover. Again, if the heels feel like they're out of reach, keep the hands onto the hips or the glutes. This is going to be much better. Up onto your knees, slide the block between the thighs, tuck your toes under. The hands to the waist, move your hips away from the front of the mat, fingertips to the heels, squeeze the block, contract the glutes, press through the toes to take the hips forward, and engage the lower back to lift the chest. So engaging the lower back to lift the chest, not dumping into the lower back. One more breath. Move the hips away from the front of the mat, slide your hands to the waist, push through the toes to rise up, and then have a seat again on the heels. A couple breaths. And then one last round, come up onto your knees, block between the thighs. Tuck your toes, hands to the hips. Lean back, fingertips to heels, squeeze the block, contract the glutes. And then as the hips move forward, engage the lower back and lift the chest up. It's not necessarily the way that I would always teach this pose, but because of what we've been working on and focusing on, this keeps the mind attentive. And then coming back out the same way. And then have a seat on the heels one last time. All right. Swing your legs around out in front of you. And then what I want you to do here is lie down onto your back with your block in your hand. And then once you're on your back, bring your knees into your chest. Lift your pelvis up a little bit and wedge the corner of the block into the back of the pelvis or sacrum so that your knees are in at the chest, and have your arms by your side. Purpose being to put the lower back into a slightly flexed position as a counter pose to those 3 sets of Ushtrasana, of the camel. Take some more breaths here. All right, then what I want you to do is take the arms out to the side. And now let your knees fall to the left, coming off of the block. And if you can, wrap your left arm around both shins, with the right arm reaching out to the right, as if the left arm is trying to keep the thighs close to the body. So my left arm is under my left thigh, wrapping around the shins, grabbing the outside of the right shin. And take a few breaths there. So again, putting the lower back into a flexed position, so it's flexed and rotated. All right, and then back to center. See if you can get the hips back up onto the block, or the sacrum back onto the block. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So the knees are going to come to the right. Right arm wraps around the shins, left arm out to the left. So that as you're twisting, your hips are in this pretty flexed position, lengthening the lower back. Okay, and then make your way back up on to the block. So sacrum back up onto the block. Pause there. And then take happy baby pose from this position with the sacrum slightly elevated again. We're just trying to keep length of the lower back. Covering the outer edges of the feet. The sacrum is propped up. And then bring your knees back together. Slide the block out from underneath the sacrum and set your feet to the floor. Pause for a moment. And then make your way up into a seat. We're going to end using 2 blocks. So the alternative to using 2 blocks, I'll show you the alternative first. So the alternative to using the blocks is that I want you to lie down, resting your lower back over your palms. So what you'll do is you'll lie down, hips are on the floor, and the lower back is slightly elevated because it's resting on the palms in this position here. So this is the alternative. Otherwise, you're going to take one of your blocks on the lowest height and you'll bring it right behind you, kind of up against the hip, but right behind you. Then the other block you'll keep in your hands. You'll lower down over the block, and then you'll place the block on the highest height behind the back of the head for a moment. Once you feel sort of situated and centered, the hips are on the floor, the lower back is supported, you'll take the block and you'll move it to the medium height. if that's possible, under the head. If the hips are still down with the lower back slightly supported by the block, you can take the block and bring it to the lowest height behind the head. Or for some individuals, they might even be able to take the shoulders and the head all the way down. You only want to do this without a block if your shoulders are resting on the floor as well. And then we'll be in this position. And what I want you to do from here, whether you're over the block or you're over the hands, is see if you can kind of, in a way, breathe into the lower back, kind of breathe with the block or breathe into the hands, and take about 10 breaths. Couple more breaths. All right, and then you'll reach for the back of the legs, right where the hamstrings meet the glutes. Pull yourself up. And then come off of the blocks and lie down into Shavasana. And extend your legs out. And as you do that, allow the spine to return to whatever position feels best for it with this new awareness, this new connection to or strength of the lower part of the back, the lumbar spine. And as always, I'll let you rest here for as much time, as long as you'd like, to ourselves and each other, the practice teachings, and to the yoga tradition. Thank you again.